Good evening, good day, and good afternoon, wherever you are watching, listening to this podcast, perhaps. We are Live Reality Games here at facebook.com/live reality games. You can find us also on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you find podcasts. We appreciate you tuning in, and we are here covering Survivor Boston, Season 4, Palamedes. Palamedes.
Palamedes?
I'm still not over that after episode 1. We need Haley here to correct us. We don't have Haley here tonight. We do have Joe and Nathan. Nathan, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
And we have a super special guest with us, Joe Johnson. Joe, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
We're super excited as well. So for the people watching at home, maybe that are just checking out this newest season of Season 4, kind of explain to people without any spoilers, if you can, how do you know Survivor Boston by chance, Joe?
Yeah, so I played in Survivor. Can I spoil that I play twice?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, so spoilers, I played twice, but I was in Survivor Boston seasons 2 and 3. It's a pretty fun experience because during the whole entire audition process, I've always loved Survivor. I grew up watching it with my family every Wednesday or Sunday night, whenever it was then. The person that got me to audition for it, because I was like, I don't know, I'm really nervous because I was like a freshman. It was my first semester. I was like, I don't know that many people. It was actually Aiden. So if you watch the second season, Aiden, to take it at what you will, he's a interesting player in the game, but he's like, no, you need to do this and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, because we were suite mates. And he's like, we got to do this together. And then I got to meet Jacob and Charlie. And I legitimately thought we were going to be filming on an island off of the Boston harbor at first, because Jacob was like, yeah, man, we may get an island. And I couldn't tell if he was being serious or not. So, yeah. Needless to say, there was no island. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert, everyone. No island.
No islands. Yeah.
But Nathan, since this contestant was one of your finalists, do you want to introduce our finalists? So we have here...
Yeah, we have Brady.
Hi.
Brady. So I'm so upset that you are here. I was excited to see you tear into everyone's hearts this season, and instead you got yours crushed too early. And how are you doing since watching the episode?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been 2 years since it's happened, so fortunately I have had time to heal and to do some self-reflection. And yes, I am so sorry I ruined your Final Fantasy draft. I'll Venmo you the damages or whatever. But even though there's a pandemic and we're in the worst economic crisis, the Great Depression, and this year has just been terrible, I'm doing all right. I think I might get some pizza later, so I'm okay. It's all you can ask for, I guess. How are y'all doing?
And doing great. And yeah, even though 2020's been a rough one, there's always pizza. That needs to be a new hashtag or something. There's always pizza.
There's always pizza.
I'm also hungry. That's what I'm craving. So.
Well, let's dive into things. So, from episode 1, Brady, you were a huge powerhouse. You made a ton of different alliances. You made so many connections with people, which is what the show is about. Episode 1 was really strong. We thought you were a great player, and you had those power moves, and it's all positive comments. Maybe a little bit too powerful, as we'll see, making a little bit too many.
Yeah, well, first off, I do have to thank the Survivor Boston producers and gods for giving me a nice edit, because I was when I was so scared, in the interim 20 or so months when I did my season, and when the cast and everything started to come out publicly, I was so scared that I was gonna have a shit edit. So I'm really glad that they at least made me look good for an episode. So that is much appreciated. Thank y'all so much. That's all I need. I just need to look good. to the fans. That's all I really wanted. Just kidding. But yeah, you know, episode 1, ironically, looking back, I kind of wish I went to tribal then as opposed to winning immunity, because yeah, I mean, most of the people didn't want to get rid of me that first time around. In round 1, I was doing like okay. I feel like, and I'll talk about this more later, but I feel like the biggest flaw of my season is that like rationally I was able to like figure out what it was I needed to do and what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, at that time, you know, I was just like this neurotic, naive, green-haired freshman who sort of didn't really have the social grace or capital to really, you know, execute what I wanted to do. And I think that ended up biting me in the end, along with the fact that I think I was just way too overeager. But yeah, I think round 1, I was doing okay. The challenge was nice. I was in good with Hallie at the time. We knew each other. And yeah, I was talking and wheeling and dealing. Poor Anissa ambushed her in the max. I'm so sorry, but you know, she got the last laugh on me as we saw. So it's all good.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about how you developed your relationship with Big H eventually, and really made that like pact and why you chose him. But we'll start with just a recap. People were so confused about how the vote went. So many people, meaning Max and Carly, they didn't know who voted for who. So that was interesting.
And people didn't know who Max voted for either.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I really, one of the biggest regrets I have is that I didn't get to meet a lot of the people from Fatia, because they seemed pretty cool, and I wish I had the chance to like meet them in game. But yeah, you know, I think honestly, I wish Madison had made it farther. She seems really cool, and yeah, they definitely were pushed on the outs. So definitely will be interesting to see if Max or Carly can like sort of make a comeback from that. But yeah, I think as we saw at the end of my episode, Hallie was sort of in a similar position because she was the only one who was true to me at the end. Against her better judgment, she really shouldn't have, but she was nice to me and she voted the way I asked her to. And so yeah, so definitely will be interesting to see whether or not she can, you know, sort of make a comeback too, being sort of on the outs from our tribe as well. So sort of like a little parallel there, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
You voted differently from her though. Can you explain that a little bit? Because she voted for Austin, if I have it right, and you voted for Anissa.
Yeah, so there was this thing. So Temple of Risk, I didn't participate in episode 1 because it was public and I was scared. I didn't want to get seen as a threat. But episode 2, I figured it would be in secret and I wanted to do it. And I ended up winning the Temple of Risk challenge. It was an unscrambling thing. And
you didn't just win it. Like, you schooled the challenge. Like, clearly, you got like 2 minutes less than everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And you did like 1/10 of the time that Max took.
Poor Max. Poor, you know, he's a nice guy. It's you know, we all have different strengths in life. I'm sure he had way more social grace than I had in that season. So, you know, winning challenges and being good at mental comps isn't everything, as you know, clearly. But yeah, it was, yeah, definitely felt kind of proud of myself about that. And like, I ran out into the comment at like 1 a.m. Like, I just ran out like by myself, like just trying, and like I found it, and I was so pissed that it was only half of an idol. I went through so much shit to get it. Like, it should have been a full idol. And the thing is, and this is why I ended up voting differently, it was because it was the way to make it a full powered idol is you had to vote in the minority your first tribal council. And I really wanted the idol, and I shouldn't have gone for it. I should have just been like, you know what, fuck this. It's way too much of a hassle. I'm just not going to deal with it and try to make waves. But hindsight is 2020, and I didn't really have a lot of self-awareness. So I totally thought, yeah, I can totally engineer a way to like vote Austin out, but at the same time get the idol I wanted. So I went on this whole scheme about like how we have to vote out Austin because he and Swetha and Jackie are too much of a thing, when really like Anissa and Big H were the big secret relationship that nobody knew about at the time. And so I like tried to get everyone to like vote for Austin, but like then I would like vote for Anissa. And it was too much. And like, I was just doing way too much and it like did not make sense. And the team was like, all right, let's just get him out. So yeah, I wish it was a full idol though. Cause I don't know, maybe sometimes I wondered if it was a full idol and like, cause I remember like sitting in tribal council and like, I actually remember like specifically because like Big H had like was sort of turning away from me in like that downtime while they were counting the votes before they revealed them in like the other room. So we were just sitting there for a couple minutes, and I remembered like he had turned away from me, and like the rest of the tribe was just sort of talking to each other, and like it kind of gave me a sinking feeling. But at that point there was nothing I could do. But it just made me wonder if I had a full idol in my pocket at the time, I might have played it, because my biggest fear was getting voted out my first tribal council. I just so did not want that to happen, but unfortunately that's what came true. So at the end of the day, I wish it was a full idol, so I wouldn't have tried to have done so much. But that's the game, and I got caught up in it.
Another person that might have needed a full idol when they went to tribal council was Madison, who's checking us out, and she
Madison.
had something.
Aww.
She had something from her roommate. Seems like all of her roommates were cheering on you, and they wanted more Brady. So I'm glad we can provide more Brady to Madison's roommates right now.
We need Madison and Brady captains of tribes next season.
I like the twist there, Nathan. That's smart.
That would be if that ever ended up happening. Oh my god, I would feel so bad for the chaos that would ensue to deal with that. But no, Maddie is great, and I really. Like I did end up getting to know Maddie the best out of everyone in Fatio, because we were like the only two in like the eliminated chat for a while. So and I've seen her around. And yeah, Maddie, since you're watching this, I love you. You were robbed, and I hope we see you again. And also, like, yeah, you were cool.
Don't worry. It seems like some other fan here, Anissa's team has wanted more Brady as well. So Brady,
you didn't have to vote me out. I mean, it was the right choice. Like, you definitely made the right move, but you didn't have to.
And Madison wants to specify Madison, not Maddie. So there we are.
So sorry. No, that's right. I'm sorry, Madison.
I know we all know Madison is Madison and Maddie is Maddie. I know that's what Nathan.
That's why she got voted out
together.
I'm getting canceled on my own exit interview.
Hashtag cancel Brady is canceled. Wasn't that Finn's hashtag?
That was the hashtag when Brady schooled the next challenge as well on that first point in the team challenge for immunity.
Oh my god.
Was this something you're used to? Have you played Capture the Flag, or you like those physical contact sports, Brady?
Well, actually, when I was like younger, I did football, and I was a good offensive lineman. Like, I held the line, and not that you would know that from looking at me, but we did make the first round of playoffs that year, and I like to think that we could have gone all the way. But yeah, no, I with Capture the Flag, I was trying really hard, because again, like, I'm just competitive, but also like, yeah, I did sports a lot growing up, and like in high school I was like a dancer. So and I also, I just like those types of competitive games, and also, I really wanted to win, because I didn't want to go to tribal council. Bad things happen to me when I go to tribal council. I couldn't even make it out of one. So I do end up, I really, if I couldn't have gotten the full idol, I wish I could have like gotten immunity, because maybe if I had an extra round, I could have, turned myself around, stop being such a hot mess. Probably not, but maybe. But yeah, and I just really wanted to win. But I'm sorry that I got canceled for trying Capture the Flag.
Did you get a sense of what other players were feeling about you during the game?
I had like, so I think the first thing. So I get to college, and the first thing I do is like, oh, I'm gonna go play Survivor. I'll totally win. I'll totally do great. Nothing bad could possibly happen to a freshman on Survivor. My lack of social grace, and like just my inability to like read people like was really, really what killed me. Because like I genuinely thought I was doing great. I like literally up until like that moment that I described earlier at Tribal Council, I thought I was fine. And I think that was just I was like way too full of myself and just really thinking that, you know, I was all good when I was very much not. And so, you know, I think I really didn't have the type of grasp on other people that I needed to do well in this game.
Yeah, were you? I mean, being a freshman is hard without playing Survivor. So how was your year playing into what your positioning? Like, were people not as willing to play with you because you're a freshman at all?
Oh no, and like this is what's kicking me too, because like when I was rewatching it, like people, I like had this strategy in my head initially. I was like, okay, I'll like really play up that I am, you know, a freshman and I don't know as many people, and you know, I'm younger and you know, I don't have as much confidence. And you know, people were like saying that, like I mean Austin and Jackie, Jess and Anthony, even Anissa and Big H, who like I kind of immediately started annoying because I accosted her in the max when she was trying to do work. Like they were all like saying like, you know, like, oh, we want him as a vote, we want to keep him around. So initially, like my I think partially my status as a freshman was helping me, but the problem is that then my personality came out, and you see, I really should have just tried to be a totally different person. I really should have tried and lied about who I was more, because clearly I tried to, because clearly I don't see how I could have done worse. But I think that, you know, when I sort of abandoned that strategy, because like I sort of thought that, you know, I could be a real big strategic powerhouse and it would totally work out fine. I think I sort of abandoned that idea that like I'll be in the background, I'll go with the flow, I won't try and do too much too early, because I was like had such this eagerness to play and like really prove myself, that I kind of ended up sort of ruining all of that, like, you know, all of that sort of goodwill I had initially cobbled together by like sort of trying to have that be my initial impression.
Now, interesting that we have Joe here tonight as well. So Jacob filled us in. It seems like Joe also played Survivor his first year, both seasons actually. So Joe, was that pretty similar to you too? Did it seem like being a freshman made you more like easier to tag along as what people thought, or?
Yeah. I don't know. It was definitely a different experience. Because it seems like a lot of people, obviously, you know, first year, but a lot of people on my seasons like kind of already knew each other or knew of each other. And so it was kind of like, I felt like an outsider in a way. And, you know, coming up from, because I've never been to Boston before either. First time away from home for a super long extended period of time. So it was just kind of like, what's going on? Now I'm playing Survivor. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be figuring out how to do film stuff. Precursor, I'm a film major. Hire me, please. But if someone's watching this, but yeah, no, it was different. Because it seemed like everyone, when they walked in, was like, oh yeah, how's this BA that you're working on going? How's this project working on? And so I had to kind of work my way into the talks a little bit more. And I'm normally like, when I first meet people, I'm very much like an introvert. I'm just kind of like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I'm Joe. But then after you get to know me, I, you know, obviously start to speak more. And I think that's when I started to speak more in my seasons. That's when things started kind of like getting out of hand. It's like, oh, he's too nice. He's too social. We got to get him out of here. And so, because I was never really a strategic person, I was like, hey guys, like, let's hang out. And so, because I just wanted to meet people, and that was one of the main reasons why I was playing Survivor. And then, as Jacob pointed out, it just ended up becoming stressful. Like when things just started getting close to merge or after merge, season 3 spoilers. It was definitely a different experience. I don't think I was ever looked down on though that I was a freshman. In actuality, I think it actually helped that I was a freshman, because it helped me get into those inner circles more, where it's like, oh, let us help you out. Oh my gosh, like you're so great. You're gonna do so, like you're gonna have a lot of fun here at Emerson. So I think that actually kind of helped to my advantage just a little bit, but it didn't last as long as I wish it had.
And Jess specifically said this year that freshmen were susceptible. Like, Jess apologized for it. However, like, that's still what Jess said. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Brady, I want to ask you about why you targeted Austin. Was it just because he had connections on the other tribe, or with other people?
No, it was like literally because like we were all so scared of like him and Swetha like apparently knowing each other when like we all like knew people. Like looking back on it, it was kind of like an inane reason to target someone, but I think I was worried that, you know, the target could fall on me. And so, you know, it's like hot potato. You want to keep it off of yourself. And, you know, so I think that also was motivating it. Like, oh, okay, I've heard people, you know, express some concern. I think I could get it on him. When really, if I just sat down and shut up, I like probably would have been fine. I mean, if I had to guess, if like people didn't end up targeting me, I don't know, maybe Anthony would have gone. Well, I genuinely have no clue, which I think speaks to like I did not necessarily really know what was really going on in my tribe in the way that I needed to if I wanted to sort of do what I was trying to do. But yeah, it really just was that rumor that sort of like made me feel like I gotta go after him, or else terror and doom will fall on everyone. I don't know.
yeah, I thought it was really a throw up between Haley and you, Brady, at the end when Jess made those comments. I really think like Jess has a lot of power going on right now. And I thought, okay, the decision is either going to be Brady or Haley. And I was leaning actually towards a little bit for Haley to go home. I thought maybe she was going to be sent home instead of you. So I was kind of surprised when you did get sent home. So.
Yeah, I mean, while sure, like, you know, I did good in the challenges and stuff, and like, you know, I was trying to like make all those connections. Hallie was like, you know, not actively like threatening people or like trying to like do everything that I was doing. And so, you know, I think, you know, people thought it'll be less of a risk to us to keep Hallie than, you know, maybe to get rid of me. I think it's also, you know, I feel like, you know, me and Hallie, like we aren't, and like I don't want to speak for her because she's not here, and like I don't want to like say things, but like I feel like also, you know, she and I just like aren't necessarily like the most like socially adept people. And since like, you know, we were kind of like in a pair together, and like because everyone was sort of in a pair in our tribe, I think it did kind of that sort of like lack of gravitas, or, you know, sort of like typical charisma may have made it more difficult for us to sort of be power players. So I think that could have been an impact too. But I mean, really it was me just like trying to do everything that just really was like the killer. But I'm glad that Hallie didn't go home. And I mean, if I like, there are like two people that I want to do well going forward, and like Hallie is one of them. I'm rooting for her. Even though it was 2 years ago, because, you know, at the end of the day, she was the only one that really like stuck with me in spite of like all my craziness.
Yeah, I mean, I thought your thinking was sound, and I think as a freshman, targeting the most connected person is a good way of thinking. Although, do you think it would have worked better if you had just targeted Jackie instead?
Yeah, and like this was like, so I actually I liked Jackie more than I liked Austin, and like that was just like me like letting my personal biases get in the way, because like I think also like I may have had a conversation with like maybe it was Anissa where like she was kind of saying that she didn't really care for Jackie, but then I was like kind of said, oh, I like Jackie, like an idiot. Because like, you know, if you gotta get rid of one of the pair, it doesn't matter who. But I think, you know, I was really dead set on Austin, because in addition to just like liking Jackie more than him, I think, you know, it was also like I thought, oh, you got to get rid of the most powerful one. When in hindsight, I think you are right. I think things wouldn't have gone so horribly for me if I had like sort of tried to get her out, and like maybe had tried to like, you know, obviously be more cool about it. You know, who knows?
Because it felt like your biggest teammate at the time, Hallie, was also petitioning towards Jackie a little bit.
Yeah.
Seemed like Hallie felt bad that Austin took that that hit during the challenge. What was your thought about like what happened during that time? Because it looked pretty serious, and things like this happen on these live games all the time, and it's just they dealt with it as best they could, and it seems like Austin's fine from what they showed. So.
Yes, 2 years on, I can confirm Austin has made a full recovery. He was fine. Yeah, and I think like, well, low-key, I was kind of, this is like, okay, not to expose myself, like I was like a horrible person. I was like kind of like, well, I mean, if he gets injured and he can't play anymore, then
it's going to be a detriment to the team. I see what you're going with. So
no, and I was like thinking, maybe he'll just get medevaced. We won't have to worry about tribal this spot. He was the one I wanted to go. Like this is why I didn't make it far. Like I thought like that.
So
yeah,
Joe,
and then from a host to the host to chime in, Austin is confirmed okay after that. So
thank God.
We'll check in with Austin eventually. So Austin, you'll get your time to tell us all about it. So
yeah, but I think the other thing, on Hallie petitioning for Jackie, because like honestly, like like looking back on it, like especially for a game like a college-based version of Survivor, where it's like people know each other and it's not like the real show. I was kind of delusional. I like thought, oh, I'm on the real show. I'm like there as Joe said, there was no island.
Unfortunately,
an island to do like that type of live. That would have been fun.
We do have those lives available. So if you're looking for casting, LRG casting, just throw that out there. Great way, Brady. If you're interested,
Oh my God, I would love to, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know how well I would do. I mean, but yeah, I probably would if there wasn't a pandemic. So I'll finish up my point by saying that I think that I shouldn't have been so stubborn and dead set in my way, because I have like that flaw where I'm very much like my way or the highway, and I probably should have listened to her, because like at the end of the day, while sure I may have been like more active or more like strategic minded, I guess, like Hallie did and like does have like a lot of like emotional intelligence and stuff in a way that like I didn't, and I feel like she would. I mean, she ended up living this round, so there's definitely something she was doing right.
Yeah, Brady, can you go back, rewind for us a little bit, and tell us what happened with the group chat, and what all that drama was with Big H not being included, or potentially, from your perspective, what was happening with the group alliance chat?
So, this was 2 years ago, and I do not remember everything. So I'm sorry. And okay, I need to be honest, even though we're like halfway through this interview, I have not watched episode 2.
We'll recap it for you. Brady, we got this. This is what we're here for. We're for so Anissa and Big H are chatting. Anissa's like, oh yeah, here's this group chat with all of us in it. And she shows it to Big H, and Big H is like, I'm not in that chat. Anissa's like, oh, and it's a huge shocker for the time. Like, there's dramatic music and everything. So you seem to have set up a alliance chat and left Big H out of it, even though you find Big H to be your final 2, if you will, later on. So were you pretty comfortable with the 5 or the other 4 you had chosen at the time, or do you think maybe you should have added Big H into that? So.
And then you did add him later. So what was happening? And how many group chats did you have?
Oh, good question.
Oh my God, we can't do this 2 years afterwards. I mean, if I had to guess, it low-key may have been I just didn't have his number. That low-key may have been the reason, if I had to pick one.
That's not juicy enough, Brady. That's not juicy enough. If you can't remember, make something up, man. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Because I had a secret plan C where I was really targeting Big H.
Oh.
No, No, because I do have a vague memory where like I don't think I had his number. But yeah, definitely an error. And yeah, okay, I don't even remember what the fuck this group chat was for. That's how. So it was like what? It was me, Hallie, Anissa, Anthony.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
Wait.
That
and Anissa. You, Hallie, and
Jess.
And Jess.
Jess was in it?
Yes.
Me, Hallie, Anissa, Jess?
Anthony. And Anthony. It was 5 people.
And Anthony. Oh, that's right. Everyone but except Jackie and Austin. Yeah, because
And Big H.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I'm so sorry to everyone watching this for me just completely flopping an interview about like the week I was in this show, not being able to like remember it. But yeah, no, I do genuinely believe it was because I didn't have his number and I didn't think, oh, maybe I should ask someone for his number. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, Big H, that I didn't include you, but also you voted me out, so.
That's okay. Looks like Jacob K on YouTube is following us as well and helping us out along the way. Thank you, Jacob K. A+ for taking your notes.
So then we have the Temple of Risk that you win, and there's a couple things that you do after this. The first thing is tell Jackie, and what was going on there? Why did you tell her?
I'm sorry. You just gave me a flashback. That memory.
Are you okay?
Okay, so literally because I didn't plan to. I just genuinely fucked up. So like I literally walked like into our dorm because she was an RA in that dorm. You did have his number as you. Okay, Jacob Thalberg is in the comments being like, actually you did have his number. You were just a dick, Brady.
Okay.
And I'm like, thank you, Jacob. Thank you for setting the record straight that I was just genuinely that shit at the social game. But yeah, no. So she was like sitting at like the tap desk because we have to tap in to get into the building, and she's sitting there because RAs have to like sit there, and it's like late at night, and I'm like not thinking straight because I'm tired, and I literally just tell her because like I slip, and then I'm like, oh fuck, because I didn't want anyone to know. And so now I'm like, and so then like I do remember like telling the entire team and like apologizing for it, which was so stupid. And yeah, so literally I signed my own death warrant because I was tired and like my brain didn't work.
And so you do that, and then you want to loop in Big H as to the idol, and I have a question about the idol. One is like, what was your thinking about that? And with the idol's rules, did you have to vote in the main minority, or could you just vote for anybody?
I think it was you could vote for anybody so long as it wasn't the majority. Like, I'm pretty sure.
So couldn't you have just thrown your vote and not like arranged it with anyone?
What?
Couldn't you have just thrown your vote and not like arranged it with anyone?
Yeah, I could have, but like my dumb ass really thought that was the way to go.
Well, and we kind of saw what happened last week too. When you cast a stray vote, it could end up being okay, or it could be just craziness that ensues. So it's a risk you had to take. Hence the Temple of Risk, right?
Yeah, Temple of Risk. You know, it seems like my problem is that like I just generate chaos wherever I go in this season, and I generate it specifically against myself. I probably would have done better if I just like sat in my room the entire time and didn't do shit except like show up to the challenges. I probably would have done fine. But I mean, I genuinely like. Here's the thing. So like my brain was one of those brains where it's like, oh, you think you're being really smart because you're coming up with all of these things, but in actuality, you know, you're digging your own grave. So maybe I thought it was because I needed to build more trust with Big H. And so it's like, oh, okay, I'll tell him this because that'll be good, even though he and I have like no working relationship and this is so stupid. But yeah, like I think it was probably like, I'll build this whole web of people and I'll be the center of the tribe. And like, I'm just making myself look like an idiot. Like I think that's the reason.
No, I think it's a great duo with you and Big H. Like nobody probably would have expected it. Like, and it seems like Big H is really becoming like a power player in this season. So had that followed through, I don't know what you could have done to sway the rest of the team, but it could have really worked out for you in your favor. And especially getting that idol too at that time, like you were so close. And I think we talked about this too. Like you had so many good moves that you were so close to like getting through it.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with Big H is that I wasn't the first freshman to get to him, so that role was already taken, and he's got me on the draw. But yeah, I mean, maybe I don't think people really expected that. I also I low-key didn't see Big H as that much of a strategic power player, which is like kind of dumb on my part because look what happened. But I just thought, oh, he's just good at challenges. Sure, I'll team up with him. Which looking back, I feel like I'm being kind of hard on myself because looking back, I'm just you know. But yeah, I think in terms of him being a power player, I think that I think definitely Big H is one to watch out for. I think honestly, the whole Katai tribe is one to watch out for because I think that, in spite of whatever ups and downs we may have to deal with, it's people in that tribe are smart. Every single one of us was smart at the game, no matter how we ended up doing. And I think that, I think that this is just really a season where you just have to really manage your threat level, because if you do too much and you play too hard, you make yourself stand out in a negative way, whether it be strategically or socially, or in my case, both, it can really come back to bite you.
Yeah, this season for sure. Everyone is stepping up as threats. I have watched a number of these college live reality games for sure. I know Nathan is kind of newer, more watching the other style live reality games, and Joe, of course, has played them as well. But this season, it seems like there's a ton of game players. Nobody's sitting, being passive. I think the most passive person is probably Hallie right now, but everybody is there playing the game super hard. And that's not something you typically see in these college shows. Sometimes there's people that just don't show up sometimes. But everyone, I think, is there playing a game and playing to win. So
it is fun to watch. And I wanted to ask, because you were kind of this out front, manipulative, pulling the strings type, but everyone kind of saw you doing it. So Joe, you played with some people that, from what I've seen of your seasons anyway, you had some people like that on your seasons. What do you do when you have a player like that?
Just a player that's out in the open a lot.
Yeah, who's doing too much too soon.
I mean, there was one way I handled it in season 2, and then I handled it another way in season 3. So obviously I'm going to speak on both fronts. So in season 2, it was my first semester into college. I was obviously intimidated going back to that freshman thing. I was I don't want to step on too many toes. I know this is the game of Survivor. It's a game, but again, I don't want to make anyone mad. I just want to seem like a fun guy. But I started noticing right before merge, I was no, I really need to step up my game and I need to do something. I can't just sit here and be hey, everything's fun. So the problem was the people that would be out in the open and everything, you would kind of be okay, I really want to say something right now, but they're also talking to a lot of people. And I really don't want to be that person that's hey, they're sus, we should get them out, And so I would kind of run the idea past other people, being hey, what do you think about this? And it's not I was bringing up the idea per se, but I was trying to kind of hint towards it. So they're yeah, maybe we should get them out. And I'm okay, they said it and not me. And so I was just trying to get them to say it. But in season 3, I was more okay, here's what I screwed up on. I'm going to go right out of the gates and just say, all right, this person should not be in the game because they really remind me of Isabella that played earlier. And I was she won the game. And I was all right, I just want guns blazing. Here we go. Season 3, I've already played this before. Let's just go for it. And we started winning a bunch of challenges. I didn't have to worry about tribal that much. So, we were just kind of we were vibing. We found an idol as a tribe together. It was cool. But the problem was where that fell apart was, anxiety. So Molly, I don't know if Molly, if you're watching, I'm sorry I keep bringing this up, but like you were acting sus. You were like, I'm gonna hold on to the idol.
She's a nice person, Joe.
Oh, I love Molly. I love Molly. I talked to her on the phone a couple weeks ago. We had a very nice 2-hour-long chat, and so like we're doing great now. For the people that were wondering, we're doing great now. And Jonathan and Jonathan, I'm also sorry. But yeah, no, it was. I in season 3, I was just more attacking head on because a lot of people saw me as kind of like I wouldn't say role model, but just it's like, okay, well, this person played the game before. Maybe they have some knowledge of how the college version of Survivor works, and I can kind of ride on his coattails since he's more out in the open this time. And, you know, obviously we're winning challenges, and I was putting a lot more effort into the challenges and contributing a little bit more than I was in season 2. So I was also kind of like, you want to kind of keep me around in the challenges. I'm still very proud of figuring out that puzzle in that one challenge. I was like, oh boy, we beat everyone by like 5 or 7 minutes or something. I don't know. Those are some good times. But yeah, so it was a little bit different in season 3. If that answers your question, I don't know if it did. I rambled.
I was trying to think of somebody in Big Brother Columbus that clearly played like outlandish, and you had a target, Nathan. But I think everyone played kind of lower key.
I mean, Matt maybe.
That's who I was thinking of, actually.
Yeah, but Matt was in with the majority, so like no one was really upset. I mean, he was our shield, and that we were happy to like ride him like a steed to the end game, and and then cut him. But like that, and so no one was really worried about it. It was a little bit different. No one came out of the gate in that game that season and played messy like that. Well, maybe Tall Nate.
Yeah, one thing we didn't talk about was Nathan's experience from Big Brother Columbus. So you played season 7. It's on YouTube, so everyone out there, check it out.
It's really fun. It's a great season.
I watched the totem poll, and I know that someone named Sabrina was on Big Brother Columbus. Was that your season or a different one?
Yes, that was my season.
Somebody is like,
I'm sorry. Is that not a good name? Or?
No, it's a great name.
Okay.
We love Sabrina.
Sabrina was my ride or die in the game.
Until somebody tried to. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to spoil it to you, Brady.
No, I know because I know she won because I watched the totem poll season she was on.
Spoilers.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
shows
gonna get canceled again. I'm spoiling live
Cancel. So speaking of the challenge, when the hashtag came up, so Brady, you had some thoughts about the punishment for
Jacob's a fan too, so
yes. Love some Sabrina. So you had some thoughts about the punishment from the Temple of Risk, because it was just the punishment was sitting out one person for the first round, that chosen by the punished tribe. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I have not watched episode 2, but if I remember correctly, I'm so sorry I did not come doing the reading. I apologize, teachers. But yeah, no, I think my thoughts were I thought it was stupid or it wasn't a real punishment. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think generally speaking, the twist in this episode were a little less. I don't want to say developed less than the first one that the production team did, but a little less. Or a little more different, I want to say. Maybe not as balanced as well.
I think that... considering that the prize was a half idol, I hate that I won the Temple of Risk challenge that, did fuck all. Well,
it was done in secret, so you didn't really need to tell anyone. You didn't need to come clean right away to Big H and tell him everything that you knew. And I guess the prize was a clue to the idol, so it was it is a clue to the idol. But
it wasn't even a real idol; it was a half idol, and I had to run around the common in the middle of the night to find it.
I think that's fine.
I wish it had been they had to sit out the entire challenge because then I feel then I feel like my team would have won because we came really close. But But yeah, I mean, I suppose it does make sense. Like if it's not that big of a punishment, if it's not that big a reward. So I do see that point. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, it's funny because the online game that I played. So Nathan, I will tell you, I didn't get second this season, but I played an ORG where I did get second in that season. Much to everyone's chagrin because I was hated. But,
Which one did you play?
Double Cross. Do you guys know it? No, it's like it's an online game.
That doesn't count for Nathan's cast assessment, by the way. No points. Sorry,
What?
Nathan.
No, I should get half points.
We've had a Survivor Boston alumni on it. Spencer from season 2 and I were on the same season, but he got voted out before I got to meet him. So and play, but it's whatevs. Yeah, so I'm sorry I can't get you points though for your cast.
That's okay. They really should have upped the punishment. And if I could make one other change to the Temple of Risk, I think the winner staying secret is fine. I think the loser needs to be outed. I think the loser should actually have a risk and have to be outed as the loser of the Temple of Risk.
Now, I like the secretiveness.
Max Powers on this channel, huh?
Because then there's actually risk. Because Max basically is taking no punishment for this. So where
he just
the
sits
risk?
there in silent as his team suffers, and
And they didn't even suffer that much.
They didn't.
Not much risk
They
here.
won this season. What the fuck?
At least if he was outed publicly, then he would face a little bit of blowback for it. Because something needed to happen for a 22-minute puzzle time.
No, I think it adds like suspicion in the tribe, though, so it really like disharmonizes the team in general. Like, did you do it? Did you do it? Like, somebody's lying here, and then like the level of distrust can go up in a tribe, and their communication will suffer. Like their team bonding will suffer. So I like the secretiveness of knowing at least like which tribe lost, because it causes that confusion, and that's the worst thing in Survivor: confusion. So
I think that. Yeah, I mean, also...
That's true. Madison has a really good point, too. Max was punished because, for folks tuning into the podcast, Madison says Max was punished by his edit, where he was shown completing the challenge in 23 minutes, while Brady finished in 3 minutes.
I absolutely loved when it said, like, clips sped up by 400 times. And I was like, nice. It was great. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's,
So
I do have to agree with Dustyn, I think, because I think it, especially like, just to talk about the meta for a second, it's like, if I'm like production, like I definitely want the season to be interesting and unpredictable. And I don't want anyone to have an easy time or feel like they can just like coast on the top or anything. So I understand that, like, yeah, 23 minutes is, At the same time, I think not letting people know is interesting because, I mean, Max is like already on the bottom after last episode. So it's like, why not? Like, I mean, why dig him in further? So I think, making it like a detriment to the entire team and something they all have to deal with, I think it makes the season more interesting. And I think that, yeah, I agree with Madison. Fuck. I agree with Madison. That no, I did not watch because I have too much of an ego to see myself lose.
No, it's a great, Brady, you should watch it. It's really, really nice. They do a great job. And you do a great job. And we all get to see you do a great job. So
thanks. I will take your word for it.
That's good. I guess that brings us, I don't know. We talked about that.
So post-challenge, or the challenge, we have Austin getting collided, and then
and we know Austin survives. I do like the fact that Max and Carly try to pick up Marlon. Marlon or Merlon?
Marlon.
Marlon. I didn't even say it right the 2 times I said it.
Marlon.
Hallie can help with all of our pronunciation needs.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we need here. So I really like the fact that they are in the bottom. They try to bring him in. And it seems like that's working together pretty well. So maybe they'll find their way out of the bottom from the other team at least.
Yeah.
And then you form the Idol Bros with H, big H.
The Idol Bros, right?
Hashtag
it's dumb. If I could go back in time and tell past version of me. I would slap him and be like, "You fucking idiot."
And he tells Anissa everything. So what was your relationship like with Anissa? Because I don't feel like we saw you at all with her this episode, other than in a group setting.
Yeah, I really wanted to work with Anissa, and like I wanted to have a good relationship with her because we were both freshmen, and even though she wasn't necessarily on my side from the beginning, I thought, and again, this because I had no ability to perceive nothing except myself. I thought that we could have been a good duo, and I really did have a lot of freshman solidarity going on. I wanted her to like be okay. Other than again, I did end up throwing a vote at her.
She volunteered though, so
yeah.
Who do you feel most betrayed by?
I mean, if I had to like pick somebody, like at the time, I feel like I was probably the most upset at Big H because I thought like, oh, we made this whole idol pack, and so of course we're gonna be tight and we're gonna look out for one another, and like I like had us like say like, oh yeah, we'll like let each other know, and so obviously I think, and that really hurt me at the time. But I mean, like looking back, like yeah, no shit, it was like the right decision on his part. So so I mean, like now I like don't hold any bad blood, but I think definitely I was like the most upset at him. Like at the time.
Yeah, because he it's like kind of like you were playing a different game though. You were playing chess. Everyone else was playing Candyland, and he was not. he wasn't about it.
I mean, yeah. Oh, I really should have put the chess away and started playing Candyland because this isn't a game that rewards going it on your own. You need to be able to fit in with the group and like have that type of social gravitas.
Yeah.
I'm really liking the Anissa and Big H partnership though. They seem to be bonding really well. They're fun to watch together. I don't know if it's as fun as Madison and Anthony, but I'll take it in comparison, I guess. So hopefully that pair turns out pretty well.
So I noticed something else from this episode, and maybe Brady, you can answer me this. So in one of the confessionals, and when I'm watching, sometimes my things just catch my eye, and I just noticed in one of the confessional locations, and it was particularly prominent in Austin's confessionals this episode. There's a sign above everyone's heads, and you can only see the lower text of it. But it says like loses his wiener or something, loses a wiener, and I'm like, what is the rest of the sign?
You'd have to ask Jacob because I'm pretty sure we did the confessionals in his room.
Yeah, it says loses a wiener, but we can't see what the beginning of the phrase says. And so I'm looking at Austin's confessional, like just right above his head, loses a wiener as he's talking about his like lip injury. And I'm like, what is going on?
It's foreshadowing. It's foreshadowing. Get ready. Get ready.
Oh no. Another challenge gone wrong.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I was like, but yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember it, so hopefully there aren't any poorly worded signs above my head. Yeah.
I feel like Nathan's studying for like a Big Brother competition. He's like, true, false. I think Nathan's ready to go, paying attention to all the detail.
I could
You're
never
doing really good. I didn't even notice that, and I watched it like twice. So,
well, it's just where my eyes get diverted. There's a word wiener above someone's head. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I'm a mature adult. So, okay. Also about your Chiron. So Brady, apparently you get to choose your Chiron. Yours said professional mistake. Is there a reason for that?
I mean, y'all, we watched the same season, right? Yeah, I fucked up. And also, like, I mean, I'm not exact. Yeah, I mean, like, literally, it's like, yeah, I did not do well. So I thought it was fitting. And also, I mean, I've switched majors. I've dropped out of classes. Like, man, I'm doing, like, I feel like I'm doing well in life and stuff. But, like, I've definitely had a lot of fuck ups in college, so like I feel like it's fitting.
Yeah, well, you came in and you didn't hold back, and I think that's what anyone wants in a reality television contestant. And you were so entertaining, even through 2 episodes. Would you do it again? Would you play again?
Oh my God. I mean, it was 2 years ago, but even now, like, I mean, I don't know if they did a season this semester due to like COVID, but like, I mean, even now, like, if I was given the opportunity, like, I probably would. Like, one, just because I would like to not have my legacy on Survivor Boston be that, but I mean, I do enjoy playing the game, and, you know, I'm competitive, and I mean, hell, it'd probably get me out of my room more than I've been in this semester. So I certainly wouldn't mind that too. But to answer your question, yeah, I would, even now. Hopefully,
I think they're doing a virtual Survivor. Like, it's over Zoom, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything is over Zoom. All like the fucking clubs and plays. Like, I do not know how the hell like theater kids have been doing all their little shows and shit this semester. Like, I see like the post on Instagram of them like on their Zoom calls, and I'm like, oh my God, this virus sucks. Maybe after the vaccine, and maybe if things are better then, you know. Although I have done better in virtual games than in real life, so maybe I should do it while we're still doing Zoom.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, my partner teaches theater at high school, so it's different for him for sure. So he's so. I guess before we leave tonight, what was like your biggest takeaway? Like, we always like to see what's developed since then, like what you've gained, or Nathan brought up the fact that you would do it again, but any recommendations for somebody going onto the show, or maybe just your biggest takeaway that you gained from playing the game?
I think I learned that, you know, because you know, that was like the first thing I had at Emerson, and like that really did like set a tone until it's we found out
we have an answer though. All right, okay.
It's all fun and games until somebody loses a wiener.
Okay. Thank you. This is the hot takes we needed.
Yeah, you know what? He has a point. I see the man's point. Sorry, I'm at work. Why the fuck are you watching me then, bro? Little old me cutting work for me. Wow, I feel so touched. I feel so honored. I guess my takeaway, you know, because it did set a tone, like I feel like for how the rest of my college experience went, I guess what I would say is that, you know, have a backup activity prepared if you get voted out early. Like, have some, because I had nothing else planned for the semester after, because I thought I was making it longer than I did. And also, you know, I think it's also important to not like try and take things like so seriously or be so intense. You know, it's okay to like mellow and chill. That's something I'm still learning. And I mean, I'm trying to go to law school, so maybe that's not the lesson I need to be learning right now. But I feel like that, you know, it's good to try and be more chill. Because maybe if I had done that, I wouldn't be here right now. So, you know, that's my advice, I guess.
Well, thanks for being here, Brady. Really appreciate it. Like, we can't talk enough about how fun it was to watch you on the show.
Why couldn't you have gone farther?
Because my team didn't like me and voted me out.
We needed you to be the season-long villain.
I can't spoil anything, but I will say that I personally think the way the rest of the season went was very entertaining, and it was a very good season for watchers.
That's perfect. Joe, thanks again for joining us. So really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Nathan, always a pleasure.
Yes, for next week. Dustyn, what is your prediction for what's going to happen next week?
Let's see here. If the same tribe loses, I'm going to go with Haley getting voted out, just because it seems like she's on the bottom. However, in the preview, she seems like she's going to come back with a vengeance for Brady, which is super exciting to see. Maybe she'll get some payback. On the other side, I don't know, I guess. Nathan, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with you on Hallie. If the same tribe loses it for the other tribe, I'm basically the same predictions I made last week. I said Hallie for that tribe, Finn for the other tribe. I'm gonna stand by those. I still think that's gonna happen. It seems like it's moving that way.
I don't know. Maybe Max or Carly?
Maybe Carly. I don't see Max going, but
No? Okay.
no.
Make the immunity another word scrambler challenge or something.
Very true. We'll see what
He's
the
got a
tempo is.
disadvantage there.
Joe, are you caught up with the series? Can you make predictions, or is that too much of a spoiler for you? So
I do know what happens in like the next 3 seasons, so I don't
Okay,
want
so
to.
we'll
I
wait
don't want to
until, like,
say
season
really
8 to have you back
anything.
for a prediction, okay?
I'm really sorry. I also don't want to give a fake prediction either, because that would just be. That's no
Fair enough.
Because you would know that wouldn't happen. So.
Thanks again, everyone, for checking out and sending us with your comments. We had Jacob from work, Madison, of course. I don't know why that picture didn't show up. There we are. And then our friend Jacob K here on YouTube. Thank you. And thank you all for watching at
Facebook.com. She said sorry for voting me out.
Aw.
Wait, who sent that?
Anissa.
Oh.
Are you accepting her apology, Brady?
Here
official? Live on Facebook and podcast everywhere?
I acknowledge it.
Okay.
I know. It's all good.
All right, everyone. Thanks again. The next episode 3 for Survivor Boston season 4 premieres at 8:00 on Thursday, according to my calendar. So make sure you check it out on YouTube. Live comments are always streaming. I'm usually there. Nathan's usually there. Austin's usually there. And we will have Austin here instead of Nathan. Nathan has some plans next week. So Austin from Survivor Michigan will be joining us here. And we will see you then. Thanks again, everyone. And thank you. Thank you. And thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.